I have a story to tell you today, and an Indian story, mythology, if you will, and it's about a little ugly boy, and it's a very interesting story, and I think you'll enjoy it. Let's get on with it here. A long time ago, in Eagle Village, lived an old woman and her little grandson. Now the little boy was very ugly, and his skin was the color of blue paint. His eyes were crooked and squinting, and his nose was twisted over to one side. And on his head grew ugly red things, over to like red peppers. Well, he was so ugly that no one liked to look at him. Even the village children would not have him as a playmate. They would tell him, "Go away, ugly little boy. We don't want to play with you. You're just too ugly." At that time, the people of Eagle Village ate piñon nuts and grass seeds, and they dried the nuts in heaps and put them away in storerooms built of stone. The grass seeds they ground up into a sort of meal or a flour. Now near the village stood the nut trees in a grove, and there the grass seeds also grew. But one year, when the time came for the nuts and seeds to ripen, no one dared to go gather them. Why do you suppose that would be? Not because of the ugly little boy, I'm sure. It was because of a wicked old bear had come down from the mountains and had his den in a thicket near the grove. By the way, this is a Zuni Indian legend. I forgot to mention that. Whenever anyone went out to gather nuts or seeds, the bear would come roaring out of his den, and some people he actually killed, and others he hurt or drove away. Everybody was afraid of him. Now one day, little ugly boy came into the house feeling hungry, and his grandmother was sitting on the floor making clay pots. "And grandmother, I am going out to gather nuts and grass seeds," he said. But she said, "Oh, grandson, do not do that. That wicked bear will catch you. He'll eat you up," cried his grandmother. But little ugly boy was not afraid. He put a basket on his back and went out to the place where the nut trees grew. Now the ripe nuts had fallen from the trees until they covered the ground, and little ugly boy sat down on the grass to eat some of the nuts. And he cracked the shells with his teeth, and he munched the rich kernels, and they were very, very sweet. But suddenly there came a crashing through the trees, and little ugly boy looked up. There was the wicked old bear coming straight towards him. "Ooh," roared the bear. "What are you doing in my grass patch? What are you doing among my nut trees?" The little boy answered, "Well, I'm eating nuts." He wasn't a bit afraid of the bear. "You must go away. These nuts are mine," growled the bear. "No, they are not yours. They are mine," said the little ugly boy. And this made the bear rather angry. "Yes, they are mine, and if you do not go, I will tear you to pieces. I'm bigger and braver than you," he roared. "No, they are not yours, and you are not braver than I am," said the ugly little boy, laughing. "Yes, I am braver," roared the bear. "No, you're not," said the little ugly boy, "and I shall prove it. Let us try to scare one another. So first, you try to scare me, and then I'll try to scare you. And the one who scares the other shall have the nuts and grass seeds." Well, the bear laughed very much when he heard this. He roared, "Think of a little fellow like you scaring me. Indeed, I am very willing to give this a try." So little ugly boy sat on the ground eating nuts while the bear ran away and hid in its den. Now, after a while, there came a loud roar from the thicket, and the bear rushed out and came crashing through the trees straight at Ugly Boy. "Wah!" he roared. "Woof! I'll eat you up! I'll eat you up!" And as he ran, he tossed great clouds of dust into the air, and he broke off branches and knocked over young trees with his paws. But little ugly boy only laughed. He wasn't afraid. And the bear was surprised. "Little ugly boy, you are brave," he growled. "I did not scare you a bit. Now run away and see if you can scare me." So little ugly boy ran home, as the bear had bade him, and his grandmother still sat on the floor making clay pots, and as she came down the ladder from the roof, he called out to her, "Grandmother, the wicked bear tried to scare me, but I was not afraid. Now I shall try to scare him. Come and paint my face. Make me look terrible." "Yes, grandson, I will do as you say." And she put away the clay pots and went over to the fireplace. And here she made a heap of ashes and drew some soot out of the chimney. And with the soot, she painted one side of the little ugly boy's face a deep black color, and the other side she painted white with ashes. And when she had finished, his face was terrible to behold. She then gave him an old stone axe. "And, grandson," she said, "take this axe. It's magic. If you strike anything with it, the ground will rumble and shake, and everybody will be frightened." Little ugly boy took the stone axe and ran again to the place where the nut trees grew, and the bear was sitting on the ground eating nuts, and little ugly boy ran up to him crying, "He too." That's what he said. And as he ran, he struck a hollow tree with his stone axe, and the tree split and fell down with a crash, and the earth heaved and shook, and rocks rolled about on the ground, and the wicked old bear jumped straight up into the air, and he thought the earth was going to sink under him. And then he saw the little ugly boy's face. One half was painted black with soot, and the other half white with ashes, and the bear had never seen such a terrible sight in his life. Well, little ugly bear struck another tree with his stone axe, and there was an awful rumble, and the ground shook as if it would fly to pieces. That little ugly boy was now quite close to the bear, and once more he struck a tree with his stone axe. At once there was a terrible earthquake. Trees fell down upon the ground, rivers rose out of their beds and overflowed their banks, mountains shook as if they would topple over, and the wicked old bear was so frightened that he fell down and rolled upon his back. He was scared almost to death. "Wah-ha!" he roared. It is the death ghost. If I do not run away, he will kill me." And he jumped to his feet and ran back to the mountains as fast as he could run. Little ugly boy filled his basket with nuts and grass seeds and went back home again. He was very happy. "Now, grandmother," he cried, "I scared the wicked old bear. He was terribly frightened. He ran back again to the mountains." Then he went up to the roof of the house and he called out, "Ho, you people of Eagle Village, now you can gather nuts and grass seeds. The wicked old bear is gone. I frightened him away with my stone axe." And so the ugly boy became a hero, and he wasn't quite so ugly to behold anymore because he had scared away the bear and secured the food supply for his fellow tribesmen. So I hope you liked that little story. I think it was pretty interesting. This is actually from a book titled Myths of the Red Children, and it was by Gilbert L. Wilson, and it was also an illustrated book, and it was published. It really was. You can find it here. Now, is there a copyright page? It was published by Gin and Company, Boston, New York, Chicago, and London, but it does not give the date. But I believe it was, it was 1916, 2 years after my daddy and mommy was born. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back again with you real soon. God bless you. I love each and every one of you on the other side of that monitor. You'll never know how special you really, truly are to me. See you again soon.